And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, where for almost 30 years I've been talking about money issues and money matters, family, legacy, retirement planning, insurance. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you the things that we've had the pleasure and the privilege of sharing with you, my viewing audience, over the many, many years. And I must say I'm delighted to be able to bring the same information to you through DATV with facilities in Dayton, Ohio. They've been wonderful, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity to continue that legacy of bringing my viewers all over the United States, because this does go on YouTube, information to help and empower you and your families. Today is an extraordinary show, and I'm very excited to talk and share and listen. I have a very special guest on who's going to talk about her reuniting with her mother, her birth mother, and what that meant for her and what it could mean for you. July and August are always months that people do family reunions. It just is an American tradition, myself included. We have family reunions in Florida and Alabama and Cincinnati, Kentucky, and it's just connecting with your family. Again, all the money in the world cannot possibly be enough when you talk about family, your seed family, where you came from, your DNA. We all carry the DNA of our foremothers and our forefathers in us, and our personalities. We're not all that unique. So I'm going to take you on a saga today, and you ask, well, what are you talking about this, Miss Graves? You're the money lady. You're supposed to be talking about money. I'm talking about family, because family is money. Family is eternal money, eternal resources. If you don't think so, look at your children, look at your grandchildren, look at your nieces, nephews, look at all the people that constitute your family, and tell me that is not wealth. And that's what I talk about: wealth, money, legacy. And so Miss Molly Caldwell is my guest on today's show, and she is going to talk about her reconnection with her family and what it has meant for her. And I'm going to leave this thought with you before going into the interview. If you are adopted, or if you have separated from your family, things happen. Life is complicated and life is messy, right? I learned that as I've gotten older. There's no black and white, it's just shades of gray. And learning that and dealing with that is all a part of growing up. God wants us connected to our families. He wants that. He does. Why? Because that's where you came from, and you need to know your family. So without a lot of further conversation, I'm going to get into the meat of this interview. And we are very fortunate because we actually have a video that we're going to show of her and her mother meeting for the first time. It's very powerful. How are you today?
I'm great.
Give me your hand, my friend.
Yes.
My friend. What a journey. How many years had you been separated from your birth mother?
Since birth, so 47.
47 years.
47 years.
My God. Never knew her.
Never knew her.
Well, tell me about this and tell, just talk to me. This is so amazing.
I've always known I was adopted.
Okay, no secrets there.
No secrets there. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
My adoptive parents went to Cleveland. My dad got transferred to Cleveland for exactly 9 months.
Okay.
Every weekend, my grandparents would call my mom, "Get the baby yet? Get the baby yet? Get the baby yet?" And my mom's like, "No." So finally my mom's like, "We're getting the baby." And it was in October. So I was 6 weeks old when I was adopted. No sooner was adopted, my dad got transferred back to Cincinnati.
So you wound up being born in Cleveland.
raised in Cincinnati.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So off and on, you know, over the years, I've always known I was adopted. I mean, it was never a secret.
Did it impact on your relationship with your adopted mother?
No, not at all. Mom was there for everything, for sickness, boyfriend.
She was a mother.
She was a mother.
Gosh.
Yeah. You know, had a mom, had a dad, older
You
brother,
Yes.
younger sister. So raised with them, just like anybody else, but you know, loved by my aunts, my uncles, cousins. Like I was one, not that I want to say real, but one of their own. Which,
Yes, okay,
Because
okay.
some adoptees don't feel like they're a part of the family.
Mm-hmm. But that was not your case.
Not my case, no.
Mm-hmm.
Met John, and then
Your
got
husband.
my husband, got pregnant with Dan, and when I was pregnant, some issues started coming up. Well, what's going on? Do I look like this person? Do I look like that person? And then in 2004, my adoptive mom was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh my God.
So everybody had to be tested. Well, obviously,
You're okay.
I'm okay. But because I was adopted, I couldn't be tested, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when the journey kind of started.
Okay, it was from your adopted
Adoptive mom,
mom's
right.
cancer. Mhm.
Cancer, and
Okay.
saying maybe I should start looking just for my medical history.
Okay.
And so that's what I started. I actually started kind of in the mid-90s too. My adopted dad tried to help. But Ohio's laws for adoptees and birth moms were closed.
Okay. Now,
So-
what year was that?
Um,
Do you know?
Probably 94, 95
Okay,
is when
okay.
I kind of started looking.
Okay.
Sent a letter to the Archdiocese of Cleveland, sent a letter back saying that the records were closed, so they could give me some non-identifying information, but that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of let it go until Mom got sick. And then kind of played around with it a little bit, but not a whole lot. Not until March of last year, 2015,
Mm-hmm.
the law came into effect that all adoptees born from 1964 to 1996, their records, they could get their original birth certificate.
So, just for point of clarity, if an adoptee in the state of Ohio was born between 1994,
1964.
1964 and
1996.
and 1996, the records were now open.
They are now open, yes. You go on to the Ohio State .gov vital statistics.
Mm-hmm.
There's papers you fill out. Paper has to get notarized by
Okay.
and you can go to a bank. Any bank will notarize
Right,
it for
that's
free.
correct. Uh-huh.
It's $20. You put all your information. If you're a woman and you're married, you'll need your driver's license
Mm-hmm.
and probably your marriage license. I sent it all.
Okay.
In about 3 weeks, you can get your original birth certificate, and it will have your name
Okay.
or baby, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My birth mom named me, but we'll get into that. Then underneath it will have actually your birth mom's name.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back in the 60s, usually they didn't put the birth father.
Okay.
But there is, will have their name, where they lived at the time,
Mm-hmm.
everything, the doctor, hospital you were born.
Okay.
So
So let me just kind of, and it's okay if you tear.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Because this is such a powerful journey, and I was a part of that.
yes, you were.
I remember, viewers, Molly and her husband, John, are delightful people, and they have an organic restaurant in Cincinnati, Ohio called Through the Garden, of which I am a faithful and consistent patron because they have the best food. I mean, it's just a simple place, clean, always busy, and phenomenal food that's all organic. I mean, I love their food. But anyway, moving forward, Molly and I engaged in a conversation about her getting these records. And Molly was like, yeah, and I was like, you must do this. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. So.
And so, what was your challenge? Because we toggled about this.
You know, when you're an adoptee, and I was not an adoptee that had a bad life.
Right.
And back then, it was like, I felt guilty, you know, because I had a mom and I had a dad.
And they were good.
They were good. They were great, you know. And so finally, between you and my husband, my family support, and actually it was my son.
Okay.
My son, Dan, has a girlfriend, well, fiance actually.
Soon to be wife.
Wife, as of Saturday.
Yeah. That's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. We were talking, and
Okay.
he's like, Mom, I would really like you to do this. I'd like to know my heritage, my medical history. He goes, I'm getting married. I'm going to have children someday. I'd like to know, am I passing anything on? So we talked about it as a family, including Beth, my daughter.
Okay.
You
Who's
know.
also a sweetheart.
Yeah.
God, I love that girl. They got wonderful children, by the way.
And so we talked about it, and so I started the journey, got my original birth certificate, came in the mail.
What did you feel when the birth certificate came?
This pit in my stomach, like, oh my goodness, it's real.
It's here.
It's here. Opened it up, and she named me. Most babies that are given up for adoption are not named.
Okay.
But she had a wonderful social worker up in Cleveland at the Catholic Social Services who said that if you name your baby, that means when they ever find you, they know that they were wanted and still loved.
Okay.
So she actually named me Anna Marie. And the last name's Manzi, actually, is what her name was.
Okay.
I was named after my great-grandmother.
Wonderful.
So I was named. So Dan came over one day, and John,
Your son,
my
yeah.
son, Dan and John and I were trying to Google, couldn't find anything, couldn't find it. My wonderful sister-in-law / best friend, Christy, she went to buy some 31 from a lady.
Okay.
And she went to the house to pick it up. And the show about the law passing, well, the lady, her name is Susie Mathis.
Yes.
She is what's called a search angel.
Huh.
So they started talking about me and search angels, and she said, well, if we need help, to send her my copy of my birth certificate.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
A search angel.
So, and
Wonderful.
they're actually there's different groups. There's the Cleveland Adoption Network, who actually got the law passed.
We'll talk about that because that is such a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So contacted Susie via text message, sent her my birth certificate.
Okay.
And in 3 days, she found her.
She found your birth mother
found
in 3 days.
3 days. That's actually kind of slow.
That's slow?
Some of these search angels have found them in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
But what took so long is that she actually, because I lived in Cincinnati, was born in Cleveland, so it took a little bit longer. She moved to Denver like 30 years ago.
Okay. So
Because
she went from Cleveland to
Denver.
Okay.
So got her address, tried to call her.
Oh my God.
Phone was disconnected.
Okay.
So she had a Facebook page, so.
She had a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Rah, rah. Yeah.
So
okay.
I started like creeping on it. And I was scrolling down, and the last post was like last year, like was in June, and it said that they sold their house in Denver, and they were either going to move back to Ohio or to Texas. So this is before I knew they sold the house, so I figured, well, they're still there. Wrote a letter.
Okay.
Sent it certified.
To Denver.
To Denver.
Okay.
Letter came back because by this time, as I realized, the house was already sold.
And they had moved.
They moved in with my sister now.
Okay.
So in July, at the end of July 31st, I sent her, back then last year, Facebook Messenger, if you weren't friends with somebody, they had what was called the other folder.
Right.
Well, if you paid the $1, it went directly to them.
Mm-hmm.
So on July 31st, I sat and sent her a Facebook message saying, I think I'm your daughter. And from there, she put a thumbs up.
Oh my God.
Got the message when I was at my first client's house. and just start bawling. And from there, we've been talking.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So Facebook was the portal
Yes.
to get to her. Could you have known that before?
No.
Okay.
No.
I tell you, for whatever the complaints are about Facebook, I love Facebook.
I love
I've been
it.
there for 7 years. It's a connector. Your mother's a friend of mine now.
Yeah.
Your birth mother.
Yep.
And I enjoy her story. And she looks like your twin.
Yes.
She looks like your twin. And it's so amazing to see that. So how did she thumbs you up.
Thumb me
and
up.
Viewers, thumb up means you're good.
Yeah.
And so what's the next thing that happened?
We started talking.
Okay.
She, we did this all through via text, through private message. Told me everything I really needed. We communicated via private message, text message
Yes, so
for
no
2
verbal.
hours. No
Okay.
verbal for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Told me about like my medical history, what happened. She did tell me the name of my birth dad, but told me that it was not a good situation with her. So, but she did give me his name, what happened, why she gave me up for adoption.
What did she say? Why did she give you up?
She was 19.
She was a baby.
She was a baby. And she discussed it with her mom and dad. Her dad was okay with it because she wanted to keep me. My grandpa was fine with that, but grandma was not. So she went and stayed with her aunt, and then decided after long and hard that she couldn't give me the life that she wanted. She wanted me to have 2 loving parents, be brought up, because she was raised Catholic, so she wanted me raised in a Catholic family, going to church,
Right.
schools, mass. So she reluctantly gave me up, but put these stipulations in all her paperwork. Nuns weren't too happy.
I know they weren't. Well, nuns back then were, stick in the hand.
Yeah. But she had a wonderful social worker, and she's like, she told the nuns, either you do it my way or we're not going to do it.
So did you know how they found the parents, your parents that raised you?
No. Well, my mom used to say that when they were up there, they went to the infant and maternity home, and they had to fill out the paperwork, which they did. The joke's always been I was my older brother's birthday present.
Oh, gosh.
Because I was adopted right around his birthday in October.
Okay.
So, supposedly he picked me out.
That's beautiful.
Because I guess like in the infant home back then, you kind of said who you know.
That's got to be hard, all those beautiful babies. Yeah. And which one is the one God wants you to raise?
Yeah.
That's something.
So they got me, brought me home, and then moved down here. So.
And so all connections with your birth mother ended at that point.
Right. As soon as she signed the paperwork, the day I was born, August 16th, 1968, all contact ended.
Okay.
Records were closed.
Okay. Sealed, in fact.
Sealed,
yeah.
closed. Matter of fact, she tried to find me.
Okay, and could not.
Could not. She actually called. She did not know about the records opening in Ohio until I actually contacted her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was on her bucket list to find.
Oh.
She said there's not been a day in 47 years that she has not thought of me.
You know what, Molly? I have to believe that's why your story resonated in my heart, because I had 2 incredible parents. I'm a Kentucky girl, family's everything, and we just loved people. We were raised to not be color concerned, but just love people. And I just think it's so important. And I don't believe a woman can birth a baby, having lived inside of her, and not hear that baby in the spirit. I just know that they can, and many of them are probably struggling with guilt because they did it. Of course, they don't do that to the men. No. Why isn't he struggling with guilt? Because it's his seed. But I just have to believe that your story is a door opener for other people who are similarly situated, who may have been sitting on the fence scared because, oh, if I reach out and what if they don't want me? And I'm like, but what if they do? I mean, you know, did you ever think about that? What if my mom doesn't want me?
Oh yeah, because you know, you watch the TV shows on Hallmark, the movies, and
Yes.
Lifetime, and there's always that good reunion at the end. But there are some not so good reunions. And yeah, you feel that rejection, you know. Yeah,
That would have to be scary to me.
that was my biggest fear, was the rejection. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to pursue it.
But I just felt so strongly in my heart, Molly, because you are such a beautiful person. And your adopted family raised you to be such a loving and compassionate person. But it's in your DNA.
It's in my DNA.
It's in your, I just said, she's got to connect with her mom because it's in her DNA. I mean, your life is one thing, but there are just certain characteristics that are part of who you are.
Yes.
And I thought that you deserved to know these things.
So yeah, so kept talking to her, and as we were talking, we wanted to have a live reunion.
Yes, yes.
And so Dan's like, I have found out that she ended up moving to Texas.
Okay, so she's in Texas
She's
now.
in Texas now. She is 2 hours east of Dallas. It's a
Okay.
little town called Pittsburgh, Texas.
Okay,
It used to be a chicken factory, but they've shut it down.
okay.
But,
Chickens are happy.
yeah. So she moved there because my brother's wife's family lived. That's where she's from. So they went down there. It's just a very small town. So Dan, you know, we were talking, and he's like, Mom, I know we could do this. He goes, but I would like to meet her too, but I can't go till around Christmas. Why don't we drive? Well, she wanted to meet before then. So Dan's like, I got frequent flyer miles. I can use the miles and bring her up. Well, here to find out she was having my brother and my sister and their family come.
Your birth family.
My birth family, brother and sister, were coming to Pittsburgh the first week of October.
Okay.
Just to see the new housewarming, and so she invited us.
Oh, beautiful.
So
Still hadn't met her.
still haven't met her. Still haven't met her. By this time, we've been talking on the phone, and you know, we started talking on the phone. Still haven't met her. My birth brother, now mind you, he was a little hesitant at first. How did he really? Was I really her the one? And she said what you said. She told him, in my heart, this is my daughter.
Yes.
She goes, and I actually did send her a copy of the original birth certificate so he could see it.
Right, so he would be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, John couldn't go. Dan couldn't go because he was in and out of town. So my daughter and I got on a plane and flew to Texas.
Oh my God.
And ended up staying with her. I was going to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
Because, you know, don't know her.
You don't know, right?
Don't know her, but she's like, no, you're not staying in the hotel. You're staying at my house. So
You did.
I did.
Oh my God.
And you know, I was there for 5 days, and
you came back glowing like Christmas lights.
Christmas lights. So came back, and you know, we had the reunion, did everything, and just a great visit. Well, my daughter's school, Beth at high school at the time, Mercy, they do what's called a Grandparents' Day, and it's in December. So we were talking about it, and we thought it'd be really cool that my mom could come and do Grandparents' Day.
Oh my gosh, to fly out from Texas and come to Cincinnati.
And she did.
And she did.
She did. She came, flew in on a Saturday, met John, the search angel, Dan, Ricky, all on Saturday, showed her around Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Sunday she met all my other family, all my in-laws, and my adoptive brother Tim, who I grew up with. And then Monday we went like downtown, Eden Park.
Yes, oh yeah.
Tuesday she went to Grandparents' Day, loved it,
Oh.
and then had to leave on Wednesday. So.
Oh my gosh. Can we show, Ben, can you pull the clips? Because I'd like to show the viewers this reconciliation and healing that took place with Molly and her birth mother. Yes, that's that's John, and that's Molly and her mother.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome.
That's all of us. That's my mom in the middle,
Okay.
and then Beth, and then Dan, and Ricky, my daughter-in-law to be.
Okay, that's right. That's coming up.
That's coming up.
Yes.
There they are.
Okay. Can we see the next one? Okay. Well, while he's doing that, we're gonna continue this conversation. Oh, there's some more. Okay. And who is that?
I think that was more of my in-laws,
Okay. All
my
right.
nieces.
Okay. All
They
right.
kind of have taken on her as grandma too. So
Oh, this is so beautiful. Are you able to show the video?
those are the nieces on my in-laws side.
Okay. That's
And,
beautiful.
But
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful. Okay. Oh my
that's
God.
Autumn. That's my niece.
Okay.
My sister Becca. That's Becca, my sister. It was the longest 4-hour drive
Oh, I bet it was.
that day.
Oh gosh. Okay. Now you hadn't met her yet.
No,
This
this
is
is
the
it.
first time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And there she is.
Yeah.
Your twin.
My-
Literally.
She's talking about the bags, the little suitcases.
She's like, oh God, I'm getting ready to start crying. I've never seen. Oh God. Oh. Oh God. You see where your loving nature came from?
Yeah,
There it is.
there it is.
Oh my God. Whew. Every time I see that video, I start crying. Because the heart is the seat of everything. And your birth mother was in sorrow for years. For years. There's no other way it could have been, because a part of her was gone. And to see you in the flesh looking like her, I mean, oh my gosh. That is, viewers, sorry that I'm crying, but I'm, you know, that's hard. But I'm so glad that you did this. I'm so glad that what would you say to those who are watching this show right now, and it does air on YouTube as well as in other markets. What would you say to a person such as yourself, because there are millions of people that were adopted? What would you say?
If you have the will and the want, find them. I had a happy ending. Not everybody has the happy ending, but you have to try. You have to try, because there's something always gnawing inside you.
Yeah. The
who
reconnecting.
the reconnecting. Who do you look like? Who do you act like? I mean, and I'm not saying that I didn't have a great life, because I did.
Yeah, you did. You
know?
did. Obviously.
Right.
Got a great husband, got great kids.
And I had support from my whole family. From, you know, when I started this and when I met them, I actually called my aunts and my uncles to make sure, you know, to let them know this is going on. Just, not that I needed their approval.
How
but,
did they feel? May I?
Oh my gosh, they were like, go for it.
Thank you.
Go
That's
for
what
it.
I say.
My brother Tim and my sister Kate, who I was raised with, have been very, very supportive. My brother was actually adopted.
Okay. Did he reconnect?
He's in the process of reconnecting.
Okay.
They have located his birth parents.
Oh, really?
He just hasn't made contact yet.
Now, are his birth parents married? Are they living
No,
with their lives?
They're living on with their lives. His birth mom is, if I remember correctly, is in New York now.
Okay.
His birth dad is in Georgia.
Okay.
His family, his is a little more tricky than mine was, because he was born in Cincinnati, but he was born to a very well-to-do family in Cincinnati. So he had to have a little bit more proof of saying who he is, if that makes sense.
Oh, no. Rich girls got pregnant too.
Yeah, rich girls got pregnant. His story's a little different. His birth mom actually put on his birth certificate his dad. And he's older than me, so normally that does not happen back in the 60s. So he actually had his dad's name on his birth certificate.
Last name or first name? Just
both.
First
so
and
she
put, oh my goodness. Okay, well, she had a reason for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know with him, her mom died in the 50s. She was kind of a wild child, and I think Dad just didn't know what to do.
I understand. He's grief-stricken and had a daughter that was a teenager. Teenagers do everything.
Right. They were students at UC. So, so she was a college student also.
Okay. But you know what, and I say this because today we have abortions, which you have the privilege of killing babies versus birthing and then letting them go. Is there an easy answer with this?
No, there's not. And just not Ohio, but all states have to change their laws because there are so many adoptees.
Yes.
There's only 17 states have opened, out of 50 states, only 17 have opened up their records.
Only 17?
Only 17 states, yes.
And may I ask, is there any evidence as to why they should keep their records sealed?
They were saying to protect the mother's identity and the mother's well-being back then, yes.
But we're in the 21st century.
Exactly, and that's what the fight is. That's what we're saying now. That's what these support groups are saying and networks. You know, we are in the 21st century. People have the right to know. Channel 48, PBS, well, PBS does an adoption show. L.A. Cool J's mom was adopted.
Okay.
And they actually hired the DNA squad, and they actually found her birth mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a good outcome? Or?
Yes, as far as I know.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
There are a lot, there was an actor, Richard LaLotta, Ray LaLotta, that's it, from Shades of Blue. He was adopted, and he hasn't found his, but he is very supportive of finding your birth parents and making everything open.
Even if the outcome is not necessarily optimal, I just feel that family is important, and you and I have talked about that, and I'm not going to budge. I don't care if your brother was a rat. That's still your brother.
Still your brother. You know,
that's who God gave you. Till you die, he will be your brother, she will be your sister. And I just always felt that God had a tremendous sense of humor when he gave us family. Because you know, all of us are crazy.
Oh.
I mean, When you get together with your family and you realize, you know what? We're all nuts.
Yeah, we're all nuts.
We're all nuts. We're nuts.
Yeah.
And you can laugh and you can enjoy the bonding.
Yes.
And the relationship. Has that happened with you?
Yes. It's bonding, yeah, because when the video first showed, my mom has cousins that are on, this wonderful social media called Facebook.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And they knew that she was pregnant with me. They knew about me. I mean, because my mom's family was, as I found out from my cousins that I've just met, was their house is the house they always went to on Sundays.
So
they
that
are Italian.
Was the family hub.
Family hub. They're Italian, so they ate it, And so the video showed, and all of a sudden they started Facebooking me, a couple of them.
Yes.
And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like my cousin here. And there's little things like she went to the country. She lives in Nashville now.
Okay.
She moved from Cleveland to Nashville, and she went to the country music festival downtown.
Yes.
And she's like, hopefully I can deal with it in my attitude, or I don't get upset with anybody. And I'm like, oh, that's where I get going from 0 to 10.
Yes.
So things are inherited, and
DNA.
And, I guess you don't really realize it until, like Beth, we've talked about it. Beth, my daughter, looks just like John.
Yes, she does.
And his dad. Dan has John's personality.
Yeah, but he looks like you.
But he looks like me, which he also looks like my brother, Terry.
Really?
And when we were down in Texas, Terry and my stepdad, he was actually my stepdad, but he's my dad. I call him my dad by now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were building a horseshoe pit.
Okay.
And I was watching him and how he was measuring and how he was doing it all. I'm like, oh my God, it was a mini Dan.
Yes.
Or Dan was a mini Terry.
Yes.
And when my mom came up and met Dan for the first time, she was like, oh my God, it's like I'm looking at Terry. The way he looked, the way he acts,
Awesome.
Yeah. And my my daughter-in-law, I can call her that now, Ricky, and I sat and talked one night about nature versus nurture. And she sees so much of my mom in me, my birth mom, because my adoptive mom nurtured me.
Right.
And she was very shy and quiet, whereas Rosie, my mom, is
gregarious.
Yes, just like
fun, affectionate, all that. Yeah. That is exactly why this had to happen.
Yeah,
this had to happen. This is a God thing.
Yeah. Everyone's like, John's noticed it, Dan's noticed it, Beth, that we have a lot of the same hand gestures, same with a lot of.
Right. Well, like I said, when I looked at her, and I said, oh my God, there's Molly.
Yeah.
And again, and for those of you that are watching the show, just to kind of fast forward you, we're dealing with Molly's reconnection to her birth mother after 43 years? 47 years. Yeah. After 47 years, thanks to the divine intervention, as well as search angels and her own heart's desire. And again, I'm showing this because a part of what I do as the money lady, and I'm so onto this as I grow older. Yeah, I'll be 65 this year, if you can believe this, 30-something years in television doing this show. I am convinced that the legacy we leave is not a dollar bill. It's a human being. It's our family. And the wealth that our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren bestow upon us is priceless. So I'm into reconnecting, which is no matter what has happened over the years. If you're in the state of Ohio, records are open. Records are completely open. You can go to the state of Ohio by internet and you can access information for a nominal $20 fee and notarization of documents. That's critical, listeners and viewers, critical. It starts with you saying, I want this to happen, not with an attitude, because you don't have anything to prove. Stuff happens. You weren't there. But you have to know that you are here now and that God destined you to go through this process of reconnecting. So don't enter into it like I should talk, because I'm not adopted, but I do have a number of friends who have reconnected, and some positive and some average, but at least they know. And that is very, very powerful. And the healing can begin. It's hard to heal an open wound because it just keeps pouring out stuff. But I just want to share that with you as my 2 cents before we conclude this interview. It's just important that the healing begin. It's too much stuff going on out here today. 1 minute people are here, 1 minute they're gone. Families are estranged. Parents are estranged from their children. Why? Why go into your older years with nobody? Nobody you know, nobody that you care about, nobody that you've invested in. You will find out that money is meaningless. As I've said it over the years, I can show you how to invest money. I can show you how to make money. But I cannot teach you the power of money. I can't teach you that, but I can show you that if you get yourself right on the inside, God will make it right on the outside. But it begins by connecting with your family and laughing and enjoying the DNA misfits. That's what I call it, which is God just messed this thing up because we all crazy. But as your family, and you get to see your family and love them and embrace them and enjoy them while you are on this earth before you cross over into an even bigger family. Okay, so I just want to give you that, and I'm going to get back to my guest because she is amazing, and I'm not kidding you. She's amazing. So, where are we now?
Now we are, my brother has moved from D.C. to Vegas because he's in the Air Force.
Okay.
So he got relocated.
That's your birth brother.
My birth brother,
Okay.
Terry. As he was relocating, he had a stop over in Indianapolis.
Yes.
I found out at the last minute. So Beth and I, Dan was going to go, but at the last minute he did. It's just, I drove 2 hours to spend 2 hours with him.
Oh, but I bet it was worth it.
It was worth every minute of it. So the plan is now is to go to Vegas for Christmas.
Oh,
I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not, but that is the plan.
But that's a good plan.
Yeah. So
weather's beautiful.
Weather's beautiful. We talked every day, every other day, but we're always talking.
Yes.
So, and she is getting excited now to see, now that I've reconnected with some of our cousins and I'm seeing things and picking up on some things, she is excited, and it's like she's being reborn again. And
yes.
Like, not like a baby, but I guess like seeing like when a baby first walks or a baby first talks.
Yes.
She's loving seeing these first steps as I'm seeing family resemblances, my personality, and how I'm acting.
Right.
She's loving it, like, so.
Well, I think the whole thing is so amazing. And I'm going to tell you, America has a dark, dirty little secret, and that is, again, there are children that were conceived outside of marriage, meaning a man had an affair with a woman.
Yep.
And there was a child that came forth, and the child never knew the father per se, never knew the family. I just was able to reconnect with an aunt that I never knew from one of my grandfather's indiscretions. And she looks just like us.
Yeah. Well, my mom has told me that there are probably from her grandfather and uncles that they...
Well, you said Italian, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but,
yes.
But Italian men are something else.
I'm from the tip of Sicily, so I'm on a little, right down by the tip. And so, yes, you can stereotype. I'm not going to put it out there. But they lived in Cleveland, in the Italian community in Cleveland, and we know it, the TV show.
Well, I'm just telling you, you know.
They said at one time, I had family that lived in Alaska, so they said there might be a little Eskimo babies that are not. And To do this, if you don't want to, and I wanted to make this aware to viewers too, if you don't want to contact your birth mom, you can go onto some of these DNA sites like Ancestry.com, Me and 23, 23andMe, I think it's what it's called, and you can do a DNA swap.
Okay.
And it can give you your DNA all the way. I mean, you can get second, third cousins. So.
Really? Will they match you that way
Yes.
too?
Yes.
Because DNA does not lie.
No. So
It's
yes.
an imprint.
Yes, it will match you. My sister-in-law did it just to know her heritage, and she was actually surprised of what.
What came up?
Yeah. She thought she was pretty much Native American, Indian, and she's more Scottish than Irish, and she is Native American.
I believe it. I believe it.
So, but yeah, so if your viewers don't, I mean, now DNA, Ancestry.com does run specials a lot for adoptees.
It can get expensive, can't it? Yeah.
It's run, usually it's about $99.
Okay, that's affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that's affordable.
That's if you want to go that route. So,
Well, I think it's important that all of us know
yes,
from whence we came anyway.
right.
And as I tell people, stop judging people by the color of their skin.
Because you don't know what color is underneath my
You
skin.
don't. I'm telling you. I tell people all the time. I said, just because I'm chocolate, that's what melanin does for you.
Yeah.
I said, but you don't even have a clue of what my DNA is. I do know, and I tell folks, fortunately or unfortunately, it's a lot of German, which is why I tend to be real matter of fact.
Yeah.
But to look at the outside, you never know. You say, oh, she's just an African American. I'm like, wait.
Now, and
Not so.
Right. And and not to bring that up,
Okay.
but African American, there are other African Americans that are not chocolate.
Oh, agreed.
They're Caucasian, just like me.
Yes, exactly.
So-
But different, you just don't know.
You don't know.
So you need to, I tell folks, leave it alone. God makes that call, not you.
Right.
We don't know what we're going to come out.
Right. And don't judge the book by its cover, because you don't know what happened 47 years ago.
You don't.
Life was different for, but she had the courage to give me, up for adoption.
And you know what? That takes courage.
That is the most courage. I went, because this was my first Mother's Day. I haven't mailed them yet. I'm a month late, but. And I found that out that that's inherited from her.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
She does the same thing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But ended up buying her 2 cards because I couldn't find one.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was the courage. It was
Yes.
courage and wisdom, and it was a lot of courage for her to make that decision to give me a life that she couldn't.
Yeah. And back then, I
And
remember the girls' homes, Catherine Booth in Cincinnati, where, quote, bad girls went. And I always said, quote, girls that got caught went.
Yes.
The school I went to at that time, Walnut Hills High School, we knew girls got caught because their parents had money and they were gone to another country to abort the baby.
Yeah.
And they came back, and it was like nothing had ever happened. And you'd all kind of be scratch, like, I think she did something bad. But back then, it was just different. And I think that people need to allow themselves to reconnect and to heal. That's all I've been pushing, which is you got to reconnect. Now, I'll tell you a true story where a married woman gave up her child and because her husband accused her of having an affair, which she did not. So why did she give up her child? I don't know, but the child was given up and raised in a adoptive home and was able to reconnect because she looks like everybody else in the family. And turns out that child had been raised less than a mile from where the mother and father lived.
Wow.
I know. And looks just like everybody. And do you know the father and her parted company? And the father was able to reconnect. But the mother to this day, and this girl is in her 50s now, her mother will not speak to her. She's friends with all her brothers and sisters. Her children interface with them. The mother will not reconnect with her. And it's very sad. It's very sad because that's her mother. But as I shared, you got to keep on. That's her burden.
Right. It is her burden. And something my mom, Barb, that's my adoptive mom. I now call them like my adoptive mom, Barb, and my birth mom, Rosie.
Okay, but Barb is gone on.
Barb has gone on. It will be actually 4 years Sunday.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That's
but
hard.
I went to see her, and not that I needed her blessing because I am a grown woman.
Yeah, but still.
But a couple, I went down to see her before when she was sick and in the hospice.
Mm-hmm.
We had a long talk.
I'm sure.
We talked, and I had her blessing. She wanted me to find my birth mom.
That's so beautiful.
She wanted me to find her, and because I had some medical conditions,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very important to her. So
that is so beautiful. Our time has run out.
Yeah. And
anything you want to say before we sign off today?
Just don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know
God.
what your birth mom went through. You
No.
don't know. And so.
And I believe, and this is my heartfelt belief, that every child deserves to be loved. Every child is a gift from God to humanity. They come here innocent. They come here with no preconceptions. They come here loving and wanting to be loved. And once they hit earth, things are just all over the place.
Yes.
But I appreciate you coming and sharing openly. I pray that those of you that are watching this show will tell your friends and family, talk about this during the reunions, and be open-minded and have an open heart for what God is doing in families, because He's reconnecting people in this great country, the United States of America. He's reconnecting people, all races, all colors, all circumstances, all situations. We are all greatly and divinely loved and appreciated. And I encourage you to embrace that truth as well. I'm Michelle Graves. I'm delighted to have you as my guest today. I love you so much.
Love you too. Thank you.
You're so sweet. And look forward to you all coming on to the next session of The Power of Money. Thank you so much. God bless you. You have a great day. Take care.